Welcome aboard everybody for round 6 of the Honda Master Series. This week we are at Kyoto Driving Park. Race 1 is Miyabi in the RA27265. Race 2 is Yamagiwa in the Honda Sports VGT. Our series, as ever, brought to you by DMJ Vroom Room, aka Vroom Room Gaming. LWR Design, aka Mark Miller, who does all our leagues. And a D.90 in the DDR family, a great bunch of drivers that regularly drive in all our leagues that we run. Myself, WPR Hotlap, who is doing the lap guides. And our main man, IT43Racing, who is an amazingly fast driver, coming on leaps and bounds, part of the admin team here, chief steward and bottle washer. And we will get right into the lap now. As you can see, this car is very tricky in places. What I've decided and learned is that braking long before you start changing gear is optimum to keep the car stable. A lot of the time through this circuit, you're going to be just lifting off and letting the car drive itself through the corners, only getting on the power when you know you'll make the exit, because there is some wide runs. If you get on the power too early, you will understeer out. So let's get straight into our lap, get into our view. Here we go. Turn 1, what we're looking for is this white line, and we're up on the curb. And all we're going to do is lift off the power, maybe a touch of brake, but lift off the power, get off the end of the curb and let the car run in, change down to 4th gear. And then when you know you'll make the exit fine without using too much exit curb, then get straight on the power. Here we go. As you can see, down to 4th, a little bit of throttle to keep the car turning. Using the curb and then getting on the power when you know you're safe. Only need to use a wee bit of that throttle. Here, as you can see, just lifted off, and I'm just going to coast through these curbs. We're going to try to use more of the left hand one than the right. And as soon as you're off the right hand curb in the chicane, you get straight on the power. Here we go. So use this curb, off the curb, straight on the power, get the car turned. And for here, we are braking just at the 100 line there on the left-hand side. Oh, you're braking first, down to 3rd gear, very late apex here, and you don't have to run out wide to the curb, especially for the next tricky chicane. Here we go. Down to 3rd, late apex, there it is. Get on the power as soon as you can. Cut right back onto this, let the car run through here. Very, very wide on that curb there. Just got away with a penalty there. And that is a 41.6. I have done a 41.1 earlier in the day. And possible a 40 anyway for the fast aliens, especially Ian that's in this group. So what we'll do is we'll go out of car. Do it all again for you. Here we go. As you can see, I'm up on the curb. Just let the car coast in, down to 4th gear, let it run. Use a little bit of curb to keep the car turned on, throttle and get on the power as soon as you know you'll make it. That's good enough. Be very careful when your tyres are going off, because it will put you wider. So more care will be needed as the race goes on. There's the line. Down to 3rd, just let the car turn in. A little bit of power to keep it turning. There we go. Now this was very wide on the curb here. Just managed to keep it on the red and white, I think. But penalties were on. And that is part 1 of this week's races. And we'll be back shortly with the Honda VGT. Okay everybody, as you can see, we're now back in the Honda Sports VGT. This car doesn't like to get revved out too much. It does drink its fuel and it'll go through its tyres quite easily. So be very careful. You don't want to spin this car any point in the race, or your tyre wear will suffer. Doesn't really like the curbs either. You can abuse a couple of curbs, but this car gets very unstable very fast. So what we'll do is we'll get into our view. Make sure I've got our details on. Let's go to the first corner. First here, we are looking just at the 50 board. The line there on the track does help. And we're going to go down to 4th, possibly 3rd. You want to keep above 90 miles an hour throughout this corner. And you want to try and use the curb on the inside to help you get round on the late exit of the corner, and you don't want to run off too wide on the exit because there is a wall waiting for those unfortunate enough to get on the power a little too early. Here we go, down to fourth, down to third, helps the car turn in, up on the curb, up to fourth, and run the car out as close as you dare. That's fine for me just now. Now for this one, what we're looking for is we're going to turn the car by just getting off the throttle slightly, and it'll help rotate the car through the S's here. Here we go. Off and then back on. Here you can see again, off, on. Don't worry about this one. This one's fine. And it's carrying good speed all the way along the back straight here. For this one, we are looking at the 50. As you can see, I'm just getting, well, just after the 50 then. Here we go, let's see. Yep, a few frames later, I'm completely off the throttle, braking. And you're just going to turn down to fourth gear. And I'm taking a wide entry into this one because you can get on the power much earlier. And you'll notice a big difference in speed at the back end of this long left-hander. Here we go. So down to fourth, on the power now. Keep on the power, get on the curb, help rotate the car, and we're over 120 before we get out the final corner. Coming down the hill, remember you're going downhill, so it's hill braking. I'm looking at about 120, as you can see, I'm just off the power now. And we're going to brake in a straight line again, down to third, and you're wanting to keep late 80s, possibly 90 miles an hour on the second apex of this set of S's. And be very careful because the car does get a bit jumpy if you're too curb heavy. Here we go. Down to third, down to fourth, oh, staying fourth, okay. Does keep the car a bit more stable, and that was a good run out of there. Might be a little bit slower in acceleration, but I'll take the consistent approach there. At the 135R marker, we are braking. Again, we're going to try and brake in a straight line mostly. Down to second gear, although first does rotate you better, but I think I stay in second for this one. Here we go. Stay in second. Get on the blue, and then get on the power. That wasn't bad. Now for this one, we're turning in just before the Marshall point. As you can see, I'm starting to turn in now. And we're going to keep it in fourth. We're going to coast down to the first apex of this chicane. Then we're going to try and brake in a straight line down to third. And don't try to abuse the curb too much because it will spill you. So coast, brake down to third, get on the power. Use all the runoff if you need to, but be careful of the grass. This one, just before the 50, I'm fully braking. And we're going to stay in third for this one. Again, you're going to coast into this. Try to keep a little bit of throttle on to keep the momentum high. About 68, 70 miles an hour. And then you're going to boot it out when you know you can. So down to third. Keep it, oh no, 63, 62. On the curb. If you're doing a quali lap, stay straight towards the line. But that is a rather average lap of Yamagiwa. A 136.3. I have got a 135.7 in the bag I done the other day, but this was a bit smoother, a bit cleaner lap. So we'll go out of car, do it all again for you. And I do get a little bit jumpy in the later part of this lap, so let's see the car do a wheelie. So down to fourth, down to third, get up on the curb and then get on the power. That's as close as the grass as you want to get. That was scary close. Use all that curb, lift and push, and you're okay through here. That's a little bit of time up just after the 50. Down to fourth, late turn in, as you can see. I kept on the white line though. All up on the curb. And that's good speed through the back end of that long left-hander. Down the hill, so you're picking up more speed. 120. Down to fourth. I'm usually in third gear through here, but that's okay. Now coming up to the right-hander here, I think I get across the curb, and that's what makes the car jump a wee bit. Yep, just on the end of the curb, you see it there. Unsettles the car a little bit, but I get it slowed down fine. Up onto the blue and then get onto the power as soon as you can. Use all the runoff again if you need to. Turning in just before the Marshall box, use part of the curb. Down to third. Could have been a bit faster there, I think. But that's okay, it was safe. A safe lap. not a hot lap. Staying in third, down to 60s, could have kept a bit more power. And again, if you're going for a quality lap, just stick left. You save yourself about 1.5 meters. And that is round 6 of the Honda Master Series. Of course, join in with Vroom Vroom Gaming live on YouTube, where he'll be streaming the event. I'm sure a couple of other drivers will be as well. But that's a very tough night's work ahead. A 50-minute endurance in this one, where all 3 compounds of tyres must be used. So it'll be a great strategic fight. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you again for another one very soon. Cheers all.